So good afternoon everybody, and welcome to EKJUT's spring presentation, and then there were none. It's a 2-hour program with an intermission of about 10 minutes. We transport you back to the era of Agatha Christie. And what is EKJUT? EKJUT simply means coming together, and what better way to come together by a group of amateur actors who really love dramatics. EKJUT is all about bringing in people together who have a love for arts, drama, theatre, and we regroup every quarter or so, and we present our acts. And today's is the English version of And Then There Were None. Please enjoy. The story unfolds in 3 different acts and 6 different scenes. So before I send out anything else, I would also like to introduce to you the host for the evening, Indira Chandra.
Thank you, Pramila. Good afternoon. The story of our play this evening is set off on the Devon coast of England, on a small isolated island called the Soldier Island. A group of 8 guests are invited. The island is isolated and is accessible by boat only. The guests are unknown to each other. So EKJUT proudly presents Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. It's a gripping, nail-biting story full of mystery, crime, and suspense. Let's see what the drama unfolds and catch the murderer. Act 1.
First lot be arriving at Jim's boat, second not far behind.
Oh, good evening, Fred. Is the boat here already?
Yeah, it's already there.
Did you remember everything?
Yeah, slip soles, butter, then we had eggs and cream, and that's all I think.
There's so much to do, I don't know where to even start. All the guests arriving today, and no maids till tomorrow?
Calm down, Ethan. Everything's looking ship-shape now. Looking nice, don't
Yeah,
it, Fred?
it's nice to me. It's kind of bare, but rich people like bare, I believe.
Oh, rich folks is queer.
Yeah, they are queer. He was a great kind of gentleman. Built his whole place, then spent hell lot of money, and now he puts the whole thing for the sale.
Beats me why the Warrens wanted to buy it living in an island and all.
Oh, calm down now. And put everything back in the kitchen now. They'll be here any minute.
Yeah.
Making that steep climb an excuse for a drink, I suppose, like some others I know.
Oh, stop browsing now and go into that lovely, updated, expensive kitchen of yours.
Fred, I need 5 loaves of bread and 8 pints of milk in the morning.
Yeah.
And don't forget the oil for the engine, Fred. Otherwise, I'll have lights running down.
Yeah, it's held up at the railway station. Now it is on the station, and I'll have it next morning.
Okay. And give me a hand with that.
Okay.
Rogers, yes. I forgot to give you the list of the guests.
Oh.
Here they are.
Oh, thanks, Olga. Doesn't look like a very classy lot to me. I bet you should probably be the secretary.
Oh, I don't hold much for these secretaries, worse than the hospital nurses. Them giving themselves airs and graces and looking down upon the servants.
Now, stop browsing now and go into that lovely, updated, expensive kitchen of yours.
Oh yeah, too many newfangled gadgets for my fancy.
So, this is it.
Oh, perfectly lovely.
Hmm?
Thorne?
You're Rogers?
Yes. Good evening, miss.
Good evening, Rogers. Will you please bring up my luggage along with Captain Lombard's?
Yes, miss. Of course.
Have you been here before?
Me? No. But I have heard a lot about this place.
From Mr. and Mrs. Owen?
Nah, from old Johnny Brewer. He was a pal of mine. Bought this island and built this beautiful place. It's a sad and poignant story.
Love story.
Yes, ma'am. The saddest of all. Old Johnny fell in love with the famous Lady Logan. Married her, bought this island, and built a beautiful house for her.
Sounds most romantic.
Uh-huh. Poor Johnny. He thought by cutting her off from the rest of the world, even telephone as means of communication, he could hold her.
But surely the fair Lily tired of her ivory tower and escaped.
Correct. But Johnny went back to the Wall Street, made a few more millions, and the place was sold.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Well, I ought to go and find the others. They'll be all up in a minute, and I must also find Mrs. Owen.
Oh, wait. Will not it be rude for you to leave me here all by myself?
Would it? Well, I wonder where she is.
They'll be here whenever they're ready. By the time you're waiting, do you mind if I help myself with a drink?
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
thanks. That steep crying made me so dry. What's yours?
Oh, no, no thanks. Not from me. Not on duty.
Good secretary is never off duty, huh?
Really. This is exciting.
What is?
The sound of the sea, the smell of the beach, the gulls, this beautiful house. I'm going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think we both are. This is to you. You are so lovely.
Where's Mrs. Owen?
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Owen will be detained and won't be down until tomorrow from London, miss. I thought you knew.
Tomorrow? But
Miss, the second boatload's just arriving, and I have a list here.
thank you. Well, you will be sweet and help me, won't you?
Of course. I'll not be from your side.
It seems rather silly to have only have brought us in the first boat and all the rest in the second.
Well, that was a design, not accident.
Design? What do you mean?
I said the old boatman, no need to wait for any more passengers. That being said, and 5 more shillings. Did the job.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, they were not a very exciting lot, were they?
I thought that the young man was rather nice looking.
Callow. Definitely callow. And very, very young.
And I suppose you think a man in his 30s is more attractive.
I don't think, my sweet. I know.
What a wizard place you have got here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Oh, too bad.
May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr.
Marston. Anthony Marston.
How do you do, sir?
Good,
Have a
thank you.
drink, please.
Sure.
What can I get you? Whiskey and soda, dry martini, glass of sherry for you?
Whiskey, I think.
Wonderful place you have here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Say when?
Oh, wizard.
Oh, how are you? Oh, my name is Lombard. I would bring Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name.
Mr. Davis, Mr. Marston.
Hello.
How are you, Mr. Marston? Pleased to meet you. Thanks, Mr. Lombard. Don't mind if I do. Bit of a stiff climb up here, but wow. What a height. You know, reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Oh, does it? What part?
Oh, South Africa, do you know?
Really?
Well, here's the Temperance. Do you, know South Africa?
Me? No.
Well, that's my natal state. That's where I come from.
Interesting country, I should think.
Finest country in the world, I must say. Gold, diamonds, oranges, everything a man could want. Talk about a land flowing in beer and skittles.
General
How do you do?
Mackenzie. General Mackenzie, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. But may I please introduce Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston, and Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name.
Have a drink, sir.
Thanks. You in the service?
Me? Yes. Formerly in the King's African Rifles. Too tame for me in peacetime. I chucked it.
Pity.
When?
Where is Mrs. Owen?
Oh, Miss Brent, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Indeed, extraordinary. Did she miss her train?
I expect so. Oh, won't you have something? Oh, may I introduce Captain Lombard, General Mackenzie, Mr. Marston. I think you all met on the boat, and Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name. May I take your case?
Do let me give you a drink. A glass of sherry, a dry martini for you.
I never touch alcohol.
You never touch alcohol?
I suppose you know, young man, you left us standing on the wharf?
Oh, I'm afraid I was to blame for that, Miss Brent. I wanted to...
I find it rather extraordinary that Mrs. Owen is not here today to receive her guests.
Perhaps she's just the kind of person who can't help missing trains.
I reckon that's what she is.
She's not the least like that.
Perhaps it was her husband's fault.
She doesn't have a husband. I would like to go to my room now.
Of course, I shall take you there.
Ethel is upstairs. She'll show you your room.
I'm afraid our host and hostesses have arrived, sir. My name is Lombard.
Mine's Wargrave. How do you do, sir?
How do you do, sir? Please, do let me give you a drink. A glass of whiskey for you?
Whiskey, please. Thank you.
Davis. Davis is the name. Quite a wonderful place you have here. Quite unique.
As you say, it's quite unique.
Your drink, sir?
Old Badger Buckley rolled up yet?
Who did you say?
Badger Buckley, when is he coming? He's the one who roped me to this show.
Nobody with the name of Badger Berkeley on the list.
That dirty old double-crosser. He has let me down. Well, it's a wizard place, rather a wizard girl. That secretary of ours, she ought to liven up things a little bit over here. How about getting you dressed for the dinner, old man?
Let's
We
go.
have time.
Let's go and explore.
How wizard.
What do you think? Things are a bit at 6s and 7s when Owen's not turning up.
Tricky what?
May I take you, please, sir?
Yes, Lady Constance Culmington expected. Do you know of that?
Lady Constance Culmington. Well, sir, if she's coming with Mr. and Mrs. Owen, I'm afraid she won't be down here until tomorrow.
Oh.
May I take you, please, sir?
No, thanks. I will unpack for myself.
Well, sir, dinner is at 8 o'clock. Shall I show you to your room?
Please.
Would you take my hat, please? And what time's supper?
Dinner is at 8 o'clock, sir, in a quarter of an hour, I believe, and dressing tonight will be optional.
Wonderful place you have here. Been here long?
Just under a week, sir.
Is that all? So don't know much about the crowd that's gathered here, I presume?
No, sir.
Old friends of the family, maybe?
I cannot say, sir.
Oh, well. Oh, Rogers,
Yes, sir.
would you mind putting a bottle of beer and some sandwiches in my room at night? I've worked up an appetite with this sea air.
Yes, sir. I'll see what I can do, sir.
Good. Rogers, I'll see that you won't forget. Now, where is my room?
I'll show you, sir.
Good. I can use the wash and brush up straight away.
Here you are, sir. Roger. Roger.
What lovely place.
Yeah, it is, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Take this. Thank you.
Dr. Armstrong, I presume.
Yes.
I believe I saw you give expert evidence once in court.
Well, yes. Are you interested in law by any chance?
Yes. Would you mind having a drink by any chance?
No, thank you. I don't drink.
Do you mind if I do? Mine's a bit empty.
No, certainly not. Go ahead.
No, this is quite a wonderful place, this island, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, while driving down the mainland, I realized what a piece of heaven this was.
Two pieces of some, I dare say.
Yeah, wonderfully restful. Rest is good for nerves, and I'm the nerve specialist, you see.
Did you come down by train?
Well, you need to excuse me. I need to have a word with Mr. Owen. See you later.
But Mr. Owen isn't coming down.
There you are, Rogers. You ought to be clearing these dirty glasses. You always leave the dirty work to me. I've 4-course dinner on my hands and no help. You better come and help me with the dishing up. By the way, who was the gentleman you were talking to?
Davis, South African gentleman. No money and no class either.
I don't like him. I don't like any of them. Just like the bunch we had back in our boarding house, I'd say.
Oh well, Davis gives out he's a millionaire or something. You should see his underwear. Cheap as they make them.
Well, I can say, Rogers, this is not treating us right. Okay, all these guests arriving today and no help till the morning. What do they think we are?
Oh well, but the money is good.
The money better be good. Catch me going to the service if the money isn't good.
Well, it is good. So what are you going on about?
Well, kitchen is my business. I am a good cook. And I'm telling you, Rogers, I'm not working any place where I'm treated wrong and I'm not treated right, okay?
Oh well, you're a first-rate cook, Walter.
Well, kitchen is my place and housework is not my business. With all these guests arriving today, I have a good mind to put my hat and coat and walk straight out back to Plymouth.
Oh well, you cannot do that.
And who says I can do that?
Well, had you forgotten? We're on an island here.
Oh well, I know I don't fancy living in an island.
I can't say that I do either. You know, no pubs to go to, no pictures. Oh, but there's plenty of beer in the house.
Rogers, beer is all that you think about.
Okay, now, you have to just stop your nagging. Well, that's okay. Let's go, and you have to go now and prepare dinner.
I know, and the dinner is going to spoil by the way. All these guests are going to be late and wasted on them. I'm glad I did not make souffle.
Oh, well.
Oh, dinner will be a minute, ma'am. Just some questions on dishing up.
Is everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage between the two of you?
Yes, miss. The sister talks a lot, but she gets things done.
What a lovely evening.
Yes, the weather has settled.
How plainly one can hear the sea.
A pleasant sound.
Hardly a breath of wind and deliciously warm. Not like England at all.
I would have thought, aren't you rather uncomfortable in that dress?
Oh, no.
Isn't it rather tight?
Oh, I don't think so.
You'll have to excuse me, my girl, but you are a young girl and you have your living to earn.
Yes?
A well-bred woman would not like her secretary to appear to be flashy. It looks as though you're deliberately trying to attract attention of the opposite sex.
And would you say I do attract them?
That's besides the point. A girl who deliberately sets out to attract attention of other men would not last long at a job.
Surely that depends on who she's working for.
Really, Miss Clayton.
Aren't you being a little unkind?
The young people nowadays behave in the most disgusting fashion.
Disgusting?
Yes, all these low-back summer dresses, lying around half-naked on beaches, sunbathing. Nothing but an excuse for indecent behavior. Disgusting. And look at the young men nowadays. Decadent. Look at that young Marston. What good is he? And that Captain Lombard?
And what do you object to in Captain Lombard? I shall say that he is a man who has led a very varied and interesting life.
That man is an adventurer. Young men nowadays are of no good. No good at all.
You don't like youth, I see.
What do you mean?
I was just remarking that you don't like young people.
And is there any reason why I should?
Oh, no. But you must miss an awful lot.
You are very impertinent.
I'm sorry, but that's just what I think.
This world will never improve till we stamp out all this immorality.
Quite pathological.
What did you say?
Oh, nothing.
What about the old boy, Dr. Armstrong?
Well, he looks rather like a tortoise to me.
All judges look like tortoises. They have this venomous way of darting their heads in and out. And that Mr. Justice Wargrave is no exception.
Well, I didn't realize he was a judge.
Oh yes, he's the one responsible for sending more innocent people to their death than anyone else in England. Oh, hello you, Miss Claythorne. Me and Dr. Armstrong were just talking about the old boy.
Yes, I heard you, and so did he, I think.
Oh, Sir Lawrence.
Miss Brent, is it?
Yes, I wanted to ask you something. Do you think we can step out for a minute?
Sure, it's a remarkable evening outside.
Absolutely wizard car. A supercharged post-valerie Calera. You don't see too many of them on the road. I can get over 100 out of her.
Did you come down from London?
Yes, 208 miles. And you know what? I did it in a bit of over 4 hours. Touched 90 over the Salisbury plain. Not too bad, huh?
I think you passed me on the road.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you nearly drove me into the ditch.
But you were the one footling in the middle of the road.
Footling? Me?
Yes.
Footling?
All right, gentlemen, how about we have a drink?
Good idea. Whiskey for you, Miss Clayton?
No, no, thank you.
Good evening, Mrs. Owen.
Why, Mrs. Owen?
Oh, you had make the most attractive wife for any wealthy businessman.
Do you always flirt so outrageously?
Always.
Well, now we know.
You know. All right, come on, tell me. What that old Miss Brent is talking to the judge about? She tried to buttonhole him upstairs.
I don't know, funny. She seemed so definite that there wasn't a Mr. Owen.
Oh, so you don't think that they aren't, there isn't Mrs.
What, that they're married, you mean?
Damn shame we don't know each other. I could have given you a lift down here.
Yes, that would have been grand.
Like to show you what I could do over the Salisbury plain. Tell you what, how about we driving back together?
Oh, but
Well, it's a damn shame I got an empty car.
But I suppose she loves the way she's going back, so...
Oh, look, aren't they sweet? Those 10 little China soldiers. Oh, and there's the old nursery rhyme.
What are you talking about? What China soldiers? What nursery rhyme?
10 little soldier boys going out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little soldier boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8.
8 little soldier boys traveling to Devon. 1 got left behind, and then there were 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. You are charged with these indictments that you did respectively and at diverse times commit the following. Edward Armstrong, that you did cause the death of Louisa Marie Cleves. William Henry Bloor, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Lindor. Emily Caroline Brent, that you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that you killed Peter Ogilvie Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that you were guilty of the deaths of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. John Gordon Mackenzie, that you sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that you were guilty of the murder of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
Wait. She just fainted. She'll be all right.
Dear me, did I faint, sir?
Yes, just get some brandy.
Roger,
that voice.
get some brandy.
That awful voice, just like a judgment.
Who turned out the record?
What's going on here? What kind of practical joke was that?
Who the devil turned that on, though?
What a heartless and impractical joke this is.
So you think this is a joke, do you?
What else it could be, Judge?
I am not prepared to give an opinion right now. But I suggest we must get into that.
Yeah. Here you go. You'll be all right.
I feel much better now. It just gave me a turn.
Gave me a turn to these wicked lies. I should like to know.
Who put the record on the gramophone? Was it you, Rogers?
I was just obeying orders, sir.
Whose orders?
Well, Mr. Owens,
And let me get this straight. Mr. Owen's orders were what exactly?
I was to put this record here on the gramophone, sir, and I thought it was just a piece of music.
A remarkable story.
By heavens, it's the truth, sir, it's the truth. I was just ordered to put this record here on the gramophone, just a piece of music, I thought.
Is there a title?
A title? Yes, sir. It's entitled The Swan Song.
The whole thing is preposterous. Preposterous! Slinging accusations about like this, something must be done about it. This fellow Wayne, whoever he is.
That's just it. Who is he?
We must get to the bottom of that. But first, Rogers, may I suggest you take your sister up to the bedroom and get back here right away.
Come, I'll give you a hand.
Will she be all right, Doctor?
Yes, she'll be.
Don't know about you, sir, but I think I need another drink.
I agree.
I'll get it.
Preposterous. That's what it is, preposterous.
Whiskey for you, Miss Lawrence.
I would like to have a glass of water, please.
Of course, I shall get it for you. I would actually like a glass of whiskey myself.
She'll be all right. I have given her a sedative.
Okay. I suggest you have a drink after all this, sir.
No, thank you. I don't drink.
Oh, that's right. General, you have this.
Thank you. Now then, Rogers, we must get to the bottom of this. What do you know about Mr. Owen?
He owns this place, sir.
I am aware of the fact. Tell us, what do you yourself know about Mr. Owen?
Nothing much, sir. You see, I have never seen him.
What do you mean? You have never seen him?
We were employed by an agency, the Regina in Plymouth.
That's a high-class firm. We can look into that.
Have you got the letter?
The letter engaging us? Yes, sir.
What's next?
Sir, we arrived here, like the letter said, on the 4th. The house was very much in shape, you know, everything was in place. Just needed a little bit of dusting and that.
Go on.
We were ordered then to prepare the house for a party of 8. And then by today's post, here, sir, we got another order saying that Mr. and Mrs. Owen will not be here, and that we were supposed to do the best that we could to keep everybody here occupied and take care of everything here.
Heather's Ritz Hotel and typewritten.
Coronation machine number 5. Most common make, no defects. We won't get much out of this. We can brush it for fingerprints, but it's been handled too much.
Quite the little detective.
Got some fancy Christian name, hasn't he? Ulrich Norman Owen. Quite a mouthful.
I can get it. Thank you, Mr. Marston. You have brought my attention to a very unique and suggestive point. I think the time has come for us to pool in our information that we have about our unknown friend and share how we came all about this island. I think it would be highly productive if you knew how we all came to this island.
There is something very peculiar about all this. I received a letter with a signature that was not very easy to read. It claimed to be from someone I had met at a summer resort a couple of years ago. I read it to be Ogden. I am quite certain I have never known anyone by the name of Owen.
Have you got the letter, Miss Brent?
Yes, I'll fetch it for you.
Thank you. Miss Claythorne?
I wanted a holiday post and I applied to an agency. Miss Grenfell's in London. She offered me the post and I accepted.
Have you got the letter?
Yes.
Thank you. What's your name from Grenfell's agency? Give you 5 cents for the transportation. Ooh, Nancy Owen. Sounds about right. Thank you. Mr. Marston?
Don't actually know the Owens. Got a letter from a pal of mine, Badger Buckley. Asked me to roll up here. Surprised me a bit because I had an idea that the old guy had gone to Norway. I'd and it did not get any wire.
Thank you. Dr. Armstrong.
Well, in the circumstances, I may admit that my visit here was professional. Mr. Owen wrote to me that he was worried about his wife's health, her nerves to be precise. And without she getting alarmed, he wanted a report on her. And that's why he suggested that my visit here be regarded as that of an ordinary guest.
So, did you know anyone from the family?
No.
But you had no issues answering the summons?
Well, a colleague of mine was mentioned, and a handsome fees was suggested, and I was due for my vacation anyway.
Thank you, Miss Brent. Together in Belhaven Guest House and Southern Guest House. You won't have none of this nudity and gramophones half the night. Yours sincerely, UN. Yes, the signature is slightly ambiguous.
I like the nudity touch.
Here's my own decoy letter written to me by my friend Lady Constance Culmington. She talks about her most unusual and vague manner and asks me to join here with her host and with our host and hostess in the most vaguest of terms.
The old boy is lying. I swear he's lying.
Fellow is a madman. Absolute madman. Got a bee in his bonnet. Got hold of the wrong end of the stick all around. Best really to leave this sort of things unanswered. However, feel I ought to say, no truth. No truth in whatever he said about Arthur Richmond. Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on a mission. He was killed. Also like to say, resent very much. Slur on my wife. Been dead for a long time. Best woman in the world. Absolutely Caesar's wife.
And you, Captain Lombard?
Same sort of thing. A letter mentioning some mutual friends, and I haven't kept the letter either.
Thank you. We've all had a very disturbing moment right here. A disembodied voice spoke to us by name and leveled a string of accusations. We will deal with those accusations presently, but first I have to bring our attention to a very suggestive point. Amongst the names spoken was one William Henry Blore. As far as we know, there is no one by the name Blore. Mr. Davis?
That's not as bad as it seems. I must admit, my name isn't Davis.
So you are William Henry Blore?
That's right.
Wow.
I would like to add something to this. Not only you are here under a false name, Mr. Blower, but this remarkable evening, I have noticed that you are a first-class liar. You claim to say that you are from Natal, South Africa, huh? Too bad. I know Natal and South Africa very well, and I can swear you have never set your foot there in your life.
You gentlemen have got me all wrong. I'm an ex-CID man.
Oh, a copper!
I've got my credential, I can prove it. I run a detective agency in Plymouth. I was put onto this job.
By who?
By Mr. Owen. Sent a nice money order for all expenses and sent a list with all your names on it. Said I was to come here posing as a guest and to keep an eye on all of you.
Any particular reasons given?
My Mrs. Owen said she had some valuable jewels. Mrs. Owen, my foot, don't believe such a person exists.
Your conclusions, I think, are justified. You like Norman Owen, Una Nancy Owen. Each time to say UN Owen, or by slight stretch, unknown.
But it's fantastic. Mad.
I have no doubt in my mind that we have been invited here by a madman, a dangerous, homicidal lunatic.
Oh my God!
Whoever it is who has enticed us on this island has taken a great deal of effort in gathering information about us. Concerning that information, has leveled a string of accusations.
It's all very well to make accusations.
It's an egotist. Wicked.
I say one
All
thing.
lies.
Our friend accuses me of murder of one Edward Seaton. I remember Seaton from a trial of June of 1930. He was accused of murder of an elderly woman. He was ably defended, and the jury liked him. Nevertheless, based on evidence, I knew he was guilty. I summed up, and the jury passed the verdict of guilty. An appeal was lodged in the court based on misdirection, was squashed, and Seaton was executed. My conscience is absolutely clear. I followed the law and passed sentence on a rightfully convicted murderer.
Did you know Seaton at all? I mean, personally?
I did not know Seaton prior to the trial.
I say again, the old boy's lying. He's definitely a liar.
Fellow is absolute mad.
It's all very well to make accusations. Miss Claythorne, what do you have to say about the incident that was mentioned?
I was nursery governess to Peter Hamilton. We were in Cornwall for the summer. He was forbidden to swim out far. One day when my attention was distracted, he started off. I couldn't get to him in time.
Was there an inquest?
Yes, I was exonerated by the coroner. His mother didn't blame me either.
You. Miss Brent,
I have nothing to say.
you have nothing to say,
Nothing.
so you reserve your defense?
There is no question of defense. I have always acted by the dictates of my conscience.
What a lot of law-abiding people we seem to be. Myself excepted.
We are waiting for your story, Captain Lombard.
I haven't got any story.
What do you mean you haven't got a story?
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint all of you. It's the truth. I'm afraid. I left those natives in the bush. Matter of self-preservation.
You abandoned your men?
I'm afraid, not the act of a proper gentleman. But you know, natives don't mind dying. They don't feel about it as Europeans do. And then self-preservation is men's first duty.
Mr. Master.
I was just thinking about it. John and Lucy Combs must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad luck.
For them or for you?
Well, I was thinking for me. But you're right, sir. Damn bad luck for them too. But it was an accident. They ran out of some cottage or the other. And you know what? I had my license suspended for a year. Beastly nuisance.
The speeding is all wrong, and young men like you are a danger to society.
Of course, it was a pure accident.
Ah.
Might I say a word, sir?
Go ahead, Rogers.
There was, sir, a mention of me, Ethel, and a Miss Jennifer Brady. Well, ever since we were employed with Miss Brady, she was very ill. The night that she died, there was a huge thunderstorm, and the telephone lines went out of order. I went on foot to fetch the doctor, but by the time the doctor arrived, it was already very late. Miss Brady had already died. We did everything in our power, sir, that we could. Loyal to her we were, and there was never a word said against us, sir. Never a word.
Got a nice little something after her death, didn't you?
Well, Miss Brady left us a legacy in recognition of her faithful services. And why not, may I ask?
What about yourself, Mr. Blower?
What about me?
Well, your name was on the list too.
I know, Lender you mean. The old London and Commercial Bank robbery, right? I remember Lender. Though he did not come before me for trial, he was accused of a bank robbery, and I believe you were the officer in charge. I was, my lad. Lender got penal servitude for life and died in Dartmoor a year later. He was a delicate man. He was a crook. He was the one that put the night watchman out. The case was clear from the start. And I believe you were complimented for the able handling of the case. I was. I got my promotion. I was only doing my duty.
Duty. A very convenient word, huh? Duty. Well, what about yourself, Dr. Armstrong?
Well, I'm at a loss to understand the matter. This name means nothing to me. What was it? Please, close. I don't remember any patient by this name or it being connected to death in any way. This thing is a complete mystery to me. And of course, it's a long, long time ago. Well, it could be one of my operation cases in hospital. They come too late and too many.
It's always better to give up surgeries and take up no cases. Well, some of course give up drink.
I protest. You have no right to insinuate such things. I never touch alcohol.
My dear fellow, I never suggested you did. Anyway, Mr. Unknown Owen is the only one who knows all the facts.
Our inquiry rests here. Now, Rogers, tell us, who else is on this island besides us, you and your sister?
Nobody, sir. Nobody at all.
Are you sure of that?
Quite sure, sir.
Thank you. Don't go, Rogers. I am not so sure as to the reason our unknown host has invited us here. I'm sure he's not in the sane sense of mind. He may be dangerous. I suggest that we leave this island tonight, or as soon as possible.
But, sir, there is no boat on the island.
What do you mean there is no boat?
Oh, well, sir, there's no boat at all. Fred Narracott, he comes here in the morning and gets everything.
Can you not telephone the mainland?
Well, sir, there is no telephone line in the house. Fred Narracott, he comes with the messages and any posts.
A bit unsporting, what? Fellas, I tell you, we have to solve this mystery before we get out of this place. The whole thing sounds like a detective story, positively thrilling.
At my time of life, I have no desire for thrills.
The legal life is narrow, but I'm all for the crime. Here to it.
What just happened?
This guy is dead. He's dead.
Dead? Do you mean the fellow just choked and died?
You can call it choking, but he died of asphyxiation just right enough.
Never knew a man could die like that. Just of a choking fit.
In the middle of life, we are in death.
You can call it mere choking, Colonel Mackenzie, but Marston's death is not what we call as natural death.
Is there something in the whiskey?
Yes. By the smell of it, looks like cyanide. Maybe potassium cyanide. Works very, very instantaneously.
So what do you suggest, that the fellow put the stuff himself in the glass?
Suicide, huh? That's strange.
He was so alive. He was enjoying himself.
Look, here's one of the soldiers off the mantelpiece. Broken.
What?
Anthony Marston is dead. Guess a shot. And it's the next day. Everyone is ready. What unfolds this morning, let's see.
We have been through the top. There is no sign of the boat yet.
It's very early still.
No, still the fellow hasn't arrived here yet. He should have been here earlier by now. Still no sign of breakfast. Where's that fellow Rogers?
Well, let's not worry about breakfast.
We must get out of here. It's absurd not keeping a boat on the island.
If you ask me, Rogers was pretty knocked out yesterday. She had the wind knocked out of her.
Yes, yes, it has to be the whole thing.
Yes, she really did have the wind knocked out of her. I take it even better that she and her sister did that old lady in. I say, suppose she's hopped it, though.
Who, Rogers?
Yes.
I don't think so. She could have done it. And there's no boat on the island. You have said so.
Yes, but we've only Roger's word for that. Say there is one on the island, and she's hopped on it first thing in the morning.
Oh, no, she wouldn't be allowed to leave the island.
What's that, General? Sleep well.
I dream. Yes, I dream.
I don't wonder at that.
I dreamed of Leslie, my wife, you know.
Where's Narracott? I wish you would get here sooner.
Who is Narracott?
The bloke who brought us over yesterday.
Was it only yesterday?
Oh, I know what you mean. Suicides, unexpected deaths. It's all about a man can stand. I won't be sorry to see the back of this island, I give you my word.
Where's the young fellow now?
I reckon young Marston had a pretty bad shock to him. Like, he looks years older.
Where's the young poor fellow now?
He's in the study. I put him there myself.
Dr. Armstrong, I suppose it was suicide.
Yes. What else it could be?
I don't know, but suicide?
Pretty nasty thought, isn't it?
Yeah, well, but how is it possible for somebody else to tamper with Marston's drink without we or any one of us seeing it?
Well, the drink was just standing up there. Anybody could have dropped a dollop of cyanide in it if they wanted to.
Oh, there you are, sir, there you are. Can you please come with me? My sister, she's...
Is she still under the weather?
She's... Please come with me, sir.
You guys won't leave without me, would you?
I wish the boat would come. I hate this place. Are you all right, General? Are you hungry? Feeling like breakfast?
Leslie, my dear.
Oh, no. I'm Vera Claythorne.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry, young lady. I took you for my wife.
Oh?
I was waiting for her, you see.
But I thought your wife was dead long ago.
Yes, I thought so too. But I was wrong. She is here, on this island.
Are you all right, General? Are you okay?
Good morning.
Good morning, Captain Lombard.
Morning.
Hello. That's strange.
What is?
Do you remember we found one of these little fellows smashed last night?
Yes, and that ought to leave 9.
Yes, that ought to leave 9, but I am certain there were 10 of them when we arrived.
Really?
There are only 8.
So there are.
I think it's queer, don't you?
I think there were always 9 to begin with. But maybe due to the rhyme, we thought there were 10. Hello, Armstrong. What's the matter?
Ethel is dead.
What?
No.
Oh, no. How?
How?
She died in her sleep.
What was it, her heart?
No, Miss Rogers thought that she's still under the sleeping draft I gave her yesterday. Rogers came down, lit the fire, did the room, and went up. And by the look of her, she got alarmed, came down, and when I saw her, she had been dead for 5 hours.
Could it have been her heart, maybe?
It's possible.
I reckon young Marston's suicide must have been a pretty bad shock to her.
Yes.
Was she poisoned, I suppose, Doctor?
Well, that's also a possibility.
Was the same stuff as young Marston?
Well, not really. It has to be something different, some hypnotic or narcotic, some kind of a barbiturate.
You gave her some sleeping powder yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I gave her a small dose of lumino.
Didn't give her too much, did you?
Certainly not. What do you mean?
All right, no offense. Just thought that maybe if she had a weak heart that, she...
The amount I gave her cannot harm anybody.
So what do you suggest has happened?
Well, You can't tell it without an autopsy.
She was a very nervous-looking creature. She had a bad fright last night. Perhaps it was heart failure.
Well, yes, her heart certainly failed to beat. But what caused it to fail?
Conscience.
What do you mean by that, Miss Brent?
You all saw her last night. We all heard it. She, along with her sister, were accused of murdering their former employer and old lady.
Well, that's a possible theory, but one cannot adopt it without knowing the exact state of her.
We all saw her last night. She had completely broken down and fainted. Shock of her wickedness exposed to the world was too much for her to bear. She literally died of fear.
As I said, there is no evidence that she had a latent cardiac weakness.
Call it, if you want, an act of God.
Oh no, Miss Brent.
Why? You think it as impossible that a sinner be struck by the wrath of God? I do not.
My dear lady, in my experience of ill-doing, Providence leaves the work of conviction to us mortals. The path is always difficult. There are no shortcuts.
Okay, all right, let's be practical. What did she have to eat and drink last night after she went to bed?
Nothing.
Not a glass of water or a cup of tea? I bet you she had a cup of tea. That sort always does.
Mrs. Rogers tells me that she had absolutely nothing.
Of course she did.
So what do you suggest? Is that your idea?
Well, you heard the accusation last night. What if it's true? Miss Brent certainly thinks it is. Ethel and her sister did that old lady in, and they're feeling quite safe and happy about it, too.
Happy?
Well, you see, they know they're in no immediate danger. Then last night, some lunatic goes and spills the beans. What happens? It's the sister that cracks. Did you see Rogers last night? Not very consoling, if you ask me. She was like a cat on hot bricks. They've done a murder and got away with it. But if there's one person who spilled the beans, it's Ethel. She doesn't have the nerve to tough it out. She's a danger to her sister. So what does Rogers do? She slips a little dollop of something into her tea, and when she's had it, she washes the cup and saucer and tells the doctor she ain't had nothing.
Oh, no. That's impossible. A sister wouldn't do that.
You'd be surprised, Miss Clayton, what some sisters would do.
Excuse me, miss. I'm not much of a hand as a cook, but I would have tin pan, some canned fruits, and some fried potatoes for breakfast and lunch. Would that be good?
Yes, that will be fine, Rogers.
Well, what? When's the boat coming?
I'm sorry, sir, but there's no food that's going to come.
What?
What?
Fred Narcott's here by 8:30 in the morning, but he's not here till now, so there's no food. Would that be all?
Yes, thank you, Rogers.
It's not Rogers. Her little sister lying dead upstairs, and she's cooking breakfast and calmly talking about lunch. And now she's talking about the boat not coming? How the hell did she know that?
Mr. Bloor.
What is it?
But don't you see? She's dazed. She's carrying on automatically as a good servant would. It's pathetic, really.
She's pulling a fast one, if you ask me.
The real significance is the failure of the boat to arrive. I think we've been deliberately cut off from help.
That's very little time. Very little time.
What's that, General?
Very little time. We shouldn't waste it by talking things which don't matter.
But why do you think Narcot hasn't turned up yet?
I think the ubiquitous Mr. Owen has given orders.
These 10 little soldier boys rhyme. This is our warning. When Narcot left us, there were 10 of us, weren't we? And then what does the rhyme say? 10 little soldier boys set up a relay. One overslept herself. One overslept herself. This part fits Ethel really well. And then, further, what the rhyme says. 9 little soldier boys set up a relay. One overslept himself. This part fits Ethel. But Anthony Marston, the rhyme said that 10 little soldier boys going out to dine. One choked himself, and then there were 9. One choked himself. Anthony Marston choked himself, didn't he?
What do you think? Do you mean she wants to kill us all?
I think she does.
And each one fits with the rhyme.
This is coincidence. It's impossible. This must be coincidence.
Just 8 drill soldier boys on this island right now. You think that is coincidence too? What do you think, Blower?
I don't like it.
But there is nobody on the island.
I don't think so.
Sir Lawrence, don't you agree with me?
Up to a point, yes.
If that's the case, then I say we must not waste any time. Come on, Blower, come on, Armstrong, let's make a short work of it.
Nobody's got a revolver by any chance, do they? Or is that just too much to hope for now?
I bought one.
Always carry that about with you, huh?
Usually, I have led a rather adventurous life.
Okay. All right. Well, I suggest that Lombard, you search the house, and Armstrong, we do the island.
House ought to be easy. No sliding panels, no secret passages.
Mind you, he doesn't get you before you get him.
Don't worry about me, but you two remember, one got left behind.
Come on, Armstrong.
Quite an energetic young man, Captain Lombard.
But don't you think he's right? If there's anybody hiding on the island, they'll be bound to find him. It's practically bare rock.
Problem requires brain rather than brawn for its solution.
Where are you going?
I'm going to sit in the sun and think, my dear young lady.
Where did I keep that skein of wool?
Have you left it upstairs? Shall I go and see if I can find it?
No, it's okay. I think I know where it should be. I'll get it.
I'm glad Captain Lombard has got a revolver.
They're all wasting time. Wasting time.
You think so?
Yes. It's much better to sit quietly and wait.
Wait for what?
For the end, of course.